Cars, planes and ships are vital in an increasingly interconnected world, but they are also one of the main culprits of climate change. Why is this, and how do we decarbonise transport? Watch this video to find out more. Transportation is anything that carries people or goods from one place to another. Examples include trains, lorries and boats. However, as the climate gets warmer and warmer, the role of transportation in the fight against global warming has become more and more important. This video will explain why we need to decarbonise transport and then offer sustainable solutions on how to make both road travel and aviation net zero for a greener future. Transport is essential for everyday life. It's how we get around. Yet the sector accounts for over 14% of global greenhouse gas emissions and contributes greatly to climate change. But there are other issues too. Combustion engine cars reliant on diesel and petrol fuels belch out particulates such as nitrous oxides, carbon monoxide and PM 2.5. This causes a plethora of illnesses, including cancer, with air pollution causing over 500,000 deaths in the EU each year. Not only does the transport sector harm human health, but it also causes acid rain. Acid rain kills trees, acidifies lakes and damages limestone buildings, thus negatively impacting both local ecosystems and human infrastructure. Coupled with chronic congestion due to poor planning in some cities, it has become increasingly clear that our fragile transport systems need reform now. Road travel makes up 78% of all transport emissions. This means that governments must invest heavily in public transport, especially rail, to reduce car journeys. After all, offering a faster and cheaper mode of transport for citizens will incentivise the use of public transportation, thus bringing down congestion and air pollution. Let me give you an example. Crossrail in London, also known as the Elizabeth line, cut average journey times by 29 minutes and boosted rail capacity by over 10%. More initiatives like Crossrail are needed in the future for a fully decarbonised transport system. Furthermore, a shift to electric vehicles is equally as important. Governments should exempt electric cars from road tax and zero emission zones to bring their costs down, therefore encouraging their use. There also needs to be more government investment in charging infrastructure to make long distance electric vehicle travel possible. This is because the most common complaints about electric cars is their cost and their range. Dealing with both of these issues as much as possible will make electric vehicles as competitive as possible. Assuming governments and corporations provide the necessary investment, electric vehicles are set to be cheaper than petrol cars by 2027. But why do we want more electric cars on the road? Because electric cars do not have internal combustion engines, which means they don't produce the harmful pollutants I mentioned at the beginning of the video. It has to be said though that without increased renewable energy production, the positive impact of electric cars will be negligible at best. After all, if we're burning coal to charge electric vehicles, we're not reducing pollution so much as outsourcing it somewhere else. To find out more about electric cars, click on the card appearing on your screen now. Aviation is notorious for its disastrous environmental impact, but how do we reduce the number of plane journeys? Governments could potentially ban the majority of private jet journeys, with some exceptions of course. Needless to say, private jets bring the least amount of good to the least amount of people when we compare them to commercial flights. Governments can disincentivize commercial aviation through a number of measures, but none of them are perfect. Provided the necessary investment in rail infrastructure has already been implemented, we could consider banning flights under 500 kilometers to encourage travel by train, but this might not be very popular for obvious reasons. Countries could also establish carbon taxes for long distance travel, where the tax is proportional to the emissions caused by travelling, using the mode of transport and the distance travelled to calculate this. For example, the greater distance you travel, the more tax you have to pay, and travelling by air would be more expensive than travelling by train. Not only would this pay for better railways, but it would also discourage air travel. Moreover, improving aircraft design could boost fuel efficiency by almost 25%. Airplanes could use more lightweight materials such as carbon fibre and aluminium. Engineers could also improve the design of engines and windows to make them more efficient, which reduces the amount of fuel needed to power the plane. Decarbonising aviation therefore requires two things: reducing plane journeys and increasing the efficiency of the aircraft itself. Decarbonising transport is not easy, but it must be done. Individuals, corporations and governments all have a role to play in the transition towards a sustainable transportation system, because revolutionising transport is essential for a better, brighter and greener future. Thanks for watching and goodbye.